All right. Hi, everyone. How are you doing tonight?
Wonderful.
Welcome to YouthBridge New York's virtual graduation, also known as our Night of Celebration. My name is Tiffany Marino. I am the Development and Program Associate for YouthBridge New York, and tonight I'll be your MC. So tonight is a special night for our teens, many of whom are moving on from our 2-year fellowship and now becoming alumni. It's been a difficult year, but we want to celebrate the achievements of all of our teens who have shown true dedication throughout all the work that they're doing. But now I'd like to pass the mic on to Mohammed Razvi, who is the chair of our YouthBridge New York Board of Directors. So Mo, take it away.
Thank you, Tiffany, and thank you so much. And it's, I just want to first of all thank everyone who participated in such a difficult year. And I'm so proud of our board members, every one of them who always, thinks about YouthBridge and making sure that we are able to come up with the resources and also, have the right programming. And as everyone knows, this has been a wonderful and it's been a tough year, but it's a wonderful day for our youth bridgers and the fellows and the bridgers. And it's important that we realize that it is a time where the friendships that you have made and all the things that you have learned, and even in this difficult time, you're going to take it with you and you're going to look out for each other and for us, because you guys are our future. I mean, Bob and I always discuss this. It's been almost 18 years I've been on the board with YouthBridge, and YouthBridge was prior to me joining. And I remember when we started, and it was right after 9/11, and we were like worried, what's going to happen, how we're going to move forward. And looking at all you, and I was looking at the slides, wonderful slides, and it is just wonderful to see all you working together from diverse communities, from diverse cultures, diverse religions. And it is a time that we need you as you move forward in your careers and come back, and perhaps you're gonna join us later as board members, as some have already done. And it's just wonderful to see that. And I look forward, and congratulations again to the fellows and the bridgers. I'm so happy for you guys. I look forward to just hearing all of you. Thank you so much. Congrats.
All right. Thank you so much, Mo, for all those amazing words. And now I'd like to share a few words from our board and trainers from some of our partner organizations.
Congratulations!
Congratulations.
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 How do you convince a businesswoman in Harlem to congratulate the 2021 class of graduating YouthBridge Fellows? You just did. Congratulations.
Sorry we can't be with you today at graduation, but we do want to say, and I personally want to say, congratulations for graduating during this incredibly difficult year of COVID. Now go out into the world and make a difference. You're a powerful group of young adults, and go out and make a positive difference. We support you, we thank you, and we wish you all the best.
I just wanted to wish you a big congratulations on your graduation. Y'all are always one of my favorite groups to work with throughout the year. And I know this year was a hard one, and so you should be proud of all your hard work and dedication that you demonstrated over the year. Congratulations again, and I hope you have a great spring and a great summer.
Sorry I can't be with you there in person, but as we know, this has been somewhat of an interesting year. The lessons that you've learned, the friends that you've made, and even the experience of this pandemic are going to serve you well for the future. Because what you will learn is that you can't always plan things, and that in time, we sometimes have to pivot. I hope you've enjoyed the program, and we look forward to a very bright future for all of you. So once again, congratulations to all of the graduates.
Congratulations to the 2021 YouthBridge graduates. YouthBridge has provided you with an invigorating environment that fostered innovative thinking, and a deep spirit of leadership. You also know this truth, that when we listen and we celebrate what we have that is both common and different, we become a wiser, more inclusive, and better world. Congratulations, you are well prepared for what is next. As you look towards your future, never forget your past, and always be true to yourselves.
Congratulations on graduating. It's so good to see all of you virtually again. And it's an absolute pleasure to be able to play with all of you in the different workshops that we were doing. And I want to support you and encourage you to continue to find new ways to perform, stretch yourself on stage, off stage. Different experiences, different opportunities are all out there. And hopefully, maybe one day, who knows, maybe we'll be able to do a performance workshop in person, fingers crossed. But until then, keep building, keep growing. And again, congratulations. You did it!
You know, one of the things that I love about this fellowship is seeing the passion and drive in these teens' eyes when they work together. One of the best ways that we've seen this happen is actually through our social action committees, which take part during the first year of our program. So these social action committees meet to work together and ultimately, um, in smaller groups, work on a long-term project to address these issues, um, their respective issues that they are hoping to address, and ultimately learn the ins and outs of grant making. So this year, our committees had a focus on health and inequality, criminal justice reform, and food and income security. And all of our committees each put out a request for proposals to allocate up to $1,500 to New York City organizations of their choice that address these issues. So now I'd like for you to learn a little bit more about our committees from some of our teen representatives.
Working with the Health and Inequality Committee was very eye-opening as I got to learn more about the healthcare system and the many racial and health disparities in various communities.
I was in the Food and Income Security committee, and my experience working with the committee has been really, really fun. It's always nice to hang out with a group of people who have similar interests and, I guess, concerns as you. It's not every day that you see kids concerned over monetary policy or infrastructure, and really, it's not really the most glamorous thing to be interested about, but it's still important, and it's nice to see people still care about issues like this, even at such a young age as we are only teens. Well, almost into adulthood, but still teens, and it's nice. It's nice that I feel close to these people as well, since everyone feels like they're able to share their ideas. At least I do, and it's always nice to hear people's ideas.
Hi, I'm Alana Rappaport. I'm a member of the Criminal Justice Reform Committee at YouthBridge. Overall, I've had a really amazing experience in the committee. I've learned so much about the justice system that I didn't know before. Criminal justice reform isn't something that I have a whole lot of knowledge on, and it's something that's been really informational and has kind of helped me learn about how corrupt and how targeted the system is against certain groups of people.
Honestly, working with my committee members along with Tiffany, Liz, and Karen has been an absolute pleasure. I feel like I could speak for everyone in the committee when I say that YouthBridge does a great job at engaging us bridges at every meeting and really helps us expand our knowledge of the severity of each topic that we come across.
After learning about these issues from my committees, I feel like my perspective did change a lot. I was aware that someone's income may prevent them from getting access to healthcare, but as I was looking at these charts and graphs, I realized how drastic it is when I was comparing low-income status communities and their health status compared to high-income communities.
I think my perspective has changed. While I have cared about income security and food security in the past, they've always been limited from a New York perspective, like people not having enough to afford an apartment here, or people not having enough to afford food and medical care, or people not having enough to afford college. That stuff has always been on my mind, but that's limited in scope in accordance to the rest of America. I've never really considered the fact that in rural communities and Rust Belt communities, many people live miles from a grocery store and miles from their job and can't afford uh, stuff when anything goes wrong, like if your car breaks down. It really puts into perspective that not only is this a New York issue and an issue affecting people around me, but also affects people around the nation and is seriously an endemic. And it also gives me like a greater perspective of how to solve the issue and how it's like not just an urban issue or an issue with New York City, but an issue with like governance in the country as a whole. And like really it makes for more effective brainstorming in how to fix these issues. I'm not like a policymaker, but it's nice seeing like the proposals my other committee members and I have brainstormed, like discussing whether or not increasing social safety nets, for example, might help people by giving them more funds and more assets that they can use in case things go wrong, since everyone deserves to live a good life.
I believe that the more you learn about an issue, like specific details, facts, and reasonings for them occurring in the first place, you're bound to change your perspective. With each committee meeting that passes, we are provided with personal stories, vast amount of details, and engaging workshops to help us learn more so we can help more.
It honestly feels amazing knowing that I'll be awarding money to an organization who are working to make a difference about these issues through the Bridging the Gap grant.
It feels amazing. It's both teaching me the skills that I need to, donate money in the future if I'm rich enough to do something like that, but also to like try to see what makes an organization effective and therefore create hopefully effective organizations for ourselves, or at least effective campaigns in the future for things we care about. Uh, it's also nice that we actually get to give the money instead of just doing the research and then saying, "Oh, you don't have any money to give. Sorry." Mainly because that's simply put, that's kind of like underwhelming and disappointing. Well, if you're actually giving money, but you are actually doing something and seeing like something being done with your research instead of just, "Oh yeah, this may come up in like a year from now." It's really an amazing experience.
Change needs to happen, but change can't happen overnight. I think that with the help of the money that is going to be donated through the Bridging of the Gap grant, the change that not only we as a committee are looking for can be pushed to move at a faster pace. Every effort counts, and I know as Bridgers are very grateful of the YouthBridge team for giving us an opportunity to help change happen.
All right. So now that you've heard a little bit more about our social action committees, I'd like to introduce this year's Bridging the Gap grantees, starting with Witness to Mass Incarceration, also known as Witness.
Witness. It was founded in 2016, and it's dedicated to helping incarcerated and formerly incarcerated women and LGBTQ plus people through the process of reentry and more. As a child of Holocaust survivors, Abby brings her Jewish values into her daily life and all of her work. Abby was the first person my family had in our home since the pandemic began. We were lucky enough to share a Passover Seder with her and hear more of her stories. As Abby will speak about, she leads many initiatives. This grant is going towards building a very important one called the MAP, which looks like this. The MAP is an interactive online directory of formerly incarcerated-led businesses and services. It creates an economic infrastructure that encourages people to find, shop, and support these businesses and services. Our plan is to populate the MAP to reflect the thousands of services being built across the country, and that's where the grant comes in. Since we're making the list from scratch, we have to find each service and business one at a time, which takes roughly 20 to 30 minutes per listing. So we also have to find each business's contact information, phone number, email, mission, and social media. So the money will be used to hire someone to do this research and add about 100 people to the map, which would be huge. So now I want you to learn a piece of Abby's story so you can understand why I'm so passionate about the work Witness is doing.
Hi, I want to thank Talia for inviting me to speak at YouthBridge. It's an honor to be here. I'm a formerly incarcerated Jewish lesbian and a daughter of 2 survivors of the Holocaust. I was incarcerated in 2 federal women's prisons and spent time in solitary confinement. I was released 5 years ago. In 2009 and 2010, I was living with my mother, who had great difficulty hearing, seeing, and walking without support. I was packing away things to go to prison when she walked into my room and leaned against her walker and motioned for me to move closer. She said, "It will be harder for you to be in prison than it was for me to be in concentration camp." I said, "Mom, are you crazy? You were in Auschwitz. How could you possibly compare the two?" She said, "I was 12 years old. You are 60. It would be years later, when I was placed in solitary confinement, when my mother's words would come back to me. I was young, a child. I didn't know what was going on. You're an old woman and aware of what you've lost, and you will see your life every day." And she was right. The moment I entered prison, I knew I was no longer in the free world. I was released from prison about a week after I finished solitary confinement. I'm one of the 700,000 people being released every year from prison. I walked out with $30 and a bus ticket. I arrived to Port Authority to no one. My mother was elderly and not able to help me. I had no relationship with my brother, and I had, frankly, at the time of my arrest, many decades earlier, my family disappeared as soon as I was arrested. I was homeless and penniless. I had to live in shelters for 16 months, on people's couches, on shelters. And after being homeless for 16 months, which was harder than being in prison, I ran into an old friend. And when she asked me, where have I been? She said, "You're not going to stabilize until you have a home of your own." She brought me to the apartment I'm in now. And she could get me in. And I told her that if I take this, I'd have to use Social Security to pay my rent. And I won't have any money to live on. The moment I turned that key and was in that room, I felt freer than I had felt in decades. I never did get a job, and she knew this, even though she thought she could get me one. And she said to me, "I know you're prideful, but I'm going to give you $1,000 a month for a year. That way you can pay rent and you can pay your bills and you can start Witness to Mass Incarceration," which she knew I was trying to start. I took that money and it created the greatest safety net that I needed, and it allowed me to restart my life. And I began public speaking and I formed my organization.
We've created the map, which we spoke about earlier, an online directory of formerly incarcerated-led businesses, so that we can strengthen and build generational wealth. And more on our event in July. It was just started from a grant that Witness received to give 200 people $100 gift cards. But it was very important to her that she gave it to people in a transformative way rather than transactional, like in the things we were talking about before. So you can see in the blue, this is going to be suitcase distribution. So up to 20 formerly incarcerated people will receive a suitcase that has a computer, phone with minutes for a year, food, clothing, toiletries, Metro card, and gift cards. On the right over here, we have the gift card distribution, thanks to the Robin Hood Foundation, and 200 formerly incarcerated people will receive a $100 gift card. On the left, we have what Evie calls speed meeting. It's working to develop a broad network of congregations and houses of worship that provide or contribute to the essential services needed to assist newly released and LGBTQ plus people. So this is a place where people can sort of meet and network. And the red on the side, this is going to sort of add to the map. This can be where people can, formerly incarcerated people who lead businesses and services, can speak about what they do, network with others. And yeah, we're going to have about, I think, 800 people at this event. It's going to be really big for Witness and for all the people participating. So yeah.
And I want to thank you again for being supportive of our efforts, and it means a great deal to me.
Who are we? Well, we are passionate people. We're foodies. We're farmers. We're futurists. We are not nerds. No, we are not. We are superheroes. And today, I salute each and every one of you. So today, I come to you live from the Bronx, home of the cheese hat. I'm in my classroom right now. And to give you some context, I am in Claremont Village, which is also the poorest congressional district in America. For those of you who don't know this neighborhood, it's 45 buildings that look like this, 18 miles to the subway, the highest COVID infection rate per capita in the nation, no supermarkets, the highest grossing Domino's per square foot in America, and some of the poorest performing schools in all of New York City. And in the midst of this, I run Green Bronx Machine. And what's our superpower? Well, we grow food right here. We grow vegetables each and every day using state-of-the-art technology. I like to say I grow vegetables, my vegetables grow students, my students grow schools, and my schools grow resilient communities. But we are home to happy, healthy, high-performing children who love to eat their vegetables and come together for amazing things. At the core of our work is the Green Bronx Machine classroom curriculum. At the heart of our classroom curriculum is 300 pages, 9-week modules of science, math, social studies, language arts, computer science with 600 links. It has art, cooking, homework, test prep. Along the way, we've moved attendance, targeted attendance in the Bronx from 40% to 93% daily. And everybody, including you, benefit when my kids come to school. We've had 100% graduation rates, and we've seen a 45% increase on state tests, including English language learners and special needs students. Our humble classroom and our students have made the cover of Time magazine for kids, and a school that was once failing is now proficient and well-developed. I like to say 115,000 pounds of vegetables later. My favorite crop is organically grown citizens, graduates, members of the middle class, kids who are going to college, and a cleaner, happier, healthier community. We've taken over empty, big box real estate, stores that went bust, and have turned them into million-dollar farm facilities, growing food, jobs, health, and opportunity. I'm proud to say that Green Bronx Machine has partnered towards 2,200 living wage jobs. And my students, many who are dreamers in each and every sense of the word, are believers, and now they are achievers. And we have gone from disruption to delivery with over 500 schools across the nation. And here we are today. And literally, the Bronx and my very community overnight became New York's hottest spot. Bronx residents are twice as likely to die from COVID in New York City than anywhere else. The garbage started piling up everywhere in the streets. Parks were closed and abandoned. Streets became reckless. And wildly and almost overnight, there was no food. Supermarkets, the few that we had here in the South Bronx, closed. You couldn't make it on a 10% margin. Essential workers couldn't go to work. Schools were canceled. And instantly, Green Bronx Machine realized that there was food in the pipeline. People were growing food. Food was in the ground, so we used the internet to connect with people and redirect that food directly to our community, and started distributing food daily and weekly, door to door. We started hanging grocery bags outside of school so children and families could grab and go. We made pop-up stands all summer long and delivered food to make sure everyone had access to food. We put pop-up shops everywhere on every corner, and we turned our schoolyard into a supermarket where parents came and got food, went home with backpacks full of food, lessons, opportunity, and we put unity and immunity into our community daily. We started putting in thousands and thousands and thousands of plants across the borough, growing food, sequestering carbon, giving off oxygen. We were delivering plants everywhere. And literally, we became the first family of urban garden. We even started solar powering our gardens with solar panels so that people could connect to the internet in the garden and get access to school, food, and fresh air all at the same time. As summer headed into fall, I realized we needed to plan. And literally, we started building farms. My friends over at YouthBridge, diversity is a fact, equity is a choice, inclusion is an action, belonging is an outcome, and that's why I'm proud to say education, not asphyxiation. I like to say we're ordinary people living extraordinary lives, and it's my job and your job to shelter your siblings and to shelter and to steward children to a better, brighter, more inclusive life. Doing your best in this moment puts you in the best place for the next moment. A rising tide lifts all boats, and that's what my work and hopefully your work around social justice and innovation will be about. So I urge all of you to find your flame and keep it lit.
I'm Del Gracia Sainville. I am the program director and board secretary of Del Gracia Corp. The mission of Del Gracia Corp is to preserve young families using socioeconomic opportunities to empower individuals and families and safeguard the individuals and families' social, emotional needs. What this means is that our purpose is to prevent the recycling of foster care placement. We serve young adults with children aging out of foster care and who are at risk of child welfare involvement. Our programs address the needs of the social, economic, and parenting challenges young parents encounter, especially because of because of aging out. They may face other issues and socioeconomic challenges that are due to systemic racism, mental health inequalities. A lot of our young families do have mental health backgrounds, and we like to make sure that to have their needs met. And it is limited in their communities because they are coming from low income communities and communities that are undeserved. So how our program is different from all the other programs in New York City is that we provide 24/7 direct contact care and brief intervention. In our community maintenance program, and preserves the family by connecting the whole entire family. So the young parents are guided with a life coach. So we are there in their homes remotely, physically, every 24/7 to help stabilize all families. And our leader, of course, is Miss Catherine Cherry. She leads with 20 years of experience, and she has her own experience of aging out. I am her daughter, which is something that could be said. Ms. Cherry, would you like to speak?
So the model in which we have developed is one in which I truly believe that it did take a village of us to raise each other. That's basically what we did. We raised each other. And the model that I'm using is basically what I found to be most effective. I can talk all day about the young folks that we work with. And it's funny that they're starting, then Gracie and Karen, how they're starting to parrot everything that we are doing. I do want to share, we had a meeting with the young parents. As you all know, we have the Young Mothers Group every Friday, which we call the Girls' Night Out. And it was amazing. And I'm a crier, that the young mothers literally said to us, we want to give back what was freely given to us. I mean, that was amazing in itself. That was it. I done my job, you know? And, you know, tears came to my eyes, that the fact that I cannot say, I cannot even express that there was folks that believed in me and my sister, and that have supported me on this journey. So for me, this has been one journey in itself that literally solidifies what community is. And being a part of, I'm telling my age now, being a part of We Are All Brooklyn, that is now We Are All New York, and being, you know, being a part of the fellowship has really, really helped me in my journey. The closeness of that group that at that time when I was working in a shelter, I was working in a family shelter, and, you know, everything that I do comes from my experience. So I just want to say I'm humbly thankful to you all for even, you know, supporting us and being a part of Del Gracia Corp.
We are very big on community here, and we always, and our goals are to grow our community and to expand our community and to bring awareness to the community of this vulnerable population. And our impact, 95% of donations assist young families to transition into independent living. As of 2020, during COVID, 3 of our young families transitioned into independent living. 95% of our families are linked to community-based resources to safeguard their social emotional needs. So that could be mental health, food pantries, just anything that could stabilize a family and help keep them going. And 3 community-based organizations are working in partnership with Del Gracia Corp.
And also, I am an alum of CUNY, so they support us with with student interns on the BSW and MSW level. So they provide to us that care management care management services to our families. So without those connections, we would not be able to do the great work that we are doing. So we got our 501(c) in 2017. In 2018, when we started working with our families, we have not lost not one child of foster care. And like I said, we're small, but I'm so proud of the work and the families that we are serving. So I just wanted to make sure that we acknowledge everyone that's been a part of this community.
Since 2018, since we've really been working with the 78 individuals that we have serviced, we have not lost one family to the foster care system. And we continue to do our work, and with your support, that's how we're getting it done, and we are addressing, and we are giving them their voice. I find working with them, they have inspired me to want to continue this. Thank you so much for your support.
We as a whole are very committed to building a community that keeps families together, but we also believe greatly in community and having access to networks that can greatly impact our society. We are very thankful for, having, to be here and for nominating us for the award. It can only create positive impacts within our community. So again, I thank you.
Congratulations again to our 2021 Bridging the Gap Grantees. And now I'd like to welcome Rabbi Bob Kaplan to share a few words. Bob is the founding director of YouthBridge-NY. So Bob.
Wow. Zoom, I am zoomed out. I have to admit, I am zoomed out. However, this is one of the best Zooms I have been on, Tiffany, and I know that Alyssa's doing all the tech stuff, and you guys are amazing. You turned lemons into lemonade. Really good lemonade, by the way. Really, really excellent. It's been a hard time. It's really been a hard time. To echo what Muhammad Razvi, Mo, my brother, my friend, my colleague, my inspiration, said before. It's been a hard year. However, we started in a hard time. We started right, as Mo intimated before, we started right after 9/11. And when we brought together the first teens that we listened to, and they're no longer teens, any of them, because remember, it's almost 20 years later, they told us they want to be leaders. They want to learn. So we listened and we moved. And we went from Bridge to Brotherhood, now to YouthBridge. The YouthBridge just has been churning out every year incredibly amazing leaders that are so inspiring and inspired. The fact that they chose, and I want to congratulate all the 3 awardees. I know 2 of them real well. One is an alum of We Are All Brooklyn, as she mentioned. Evie and I know each other from a long time, but the garden thing, well, I got my own garden in the back, so I really feel really connected to that. But we started in a hard time. We go through hard times, and that challenges us as leaders. And what we do is we rise up. We rise up and we become everything we need to be. We change the world in front of us. We take on the responsibility of moving it forward. And as we do, well, just what you heard, we feed people. We make sure people who have been through hard times have an easier time when they're on the other side of it. And then we meet the other challenges of what life is like for so many folks in the communities that we serve. Wow. And each and every one of the fellows over the years have not only inspired me, they've scared me a little bit because they're just so full of passion. They're just full of life. They're full of insight. They're full of creativity. And scared is probably not the right word. They let me understand that no matter what comes at us, no matter what is going to be the thing placed in front of us, they are hope incarnated. They are hope walking around, living, growing, seeing, and moving the world forward. Again, I really want to thank Tiffany for stepping in. One person who's not with us tonight because she's doing some amazing stuff right now. A new little person, Karen Lander Lafferty, and her husband, Kevin, and new Lucas. I got to visit them last week, cutie. But Karen has poured her heart, her soul into YouthBridge, and we just want to wish them congratulations on their new family. And we're waiting for Lucas to become the YouthBridge Fellow in 2037, because we used to say like, well, maybe it won't last. It's going to last, folks, because this is about the present and the future, and this is about the board that has made sure that each and every year, and JCRC has made it sure that each and every year we step up and we step forward and we rethink it all. What you have today with the 3 different committees, that was a rethinking process that happened during COVID. Wow. Wow. That's amazing. So in the beginning of this program, I really enjoyed the music and the slideshow, but I enjoyed the music because it's music I never heard before. Every generation has its music. Every generation has that song that inspires them. So I'm going to tell you mine. And I'm going to age myself quite a bit. It'll go along with my gray hair. It was the Grateful Dead. And it was a song that said, sometimes the light's all shining on me. Other times I can barely see. But lately it's occurred to me what a long, strange trip it's been. But it's been a long, strange trip. And sometimes the lights are shining bright and sometimes they're not shining so bright. But I know with organizations like YouthBridge and the leaders that we're helping to bring to the next level, that Tiffany works so hard with, and all the interns, and of course Karen has worked so hard with, and the board has inspired and made sure the resources are there. We know that there not only will be a better present, but there's going to be one heck of an incredible future. So I want to thank you all for being here tonight. I want to thank the fellows for being the fellows and the bridgers for being the bridgers. I want to thank you for inspiring me and letting us know, Mo and I, because we sort of helped to start this thing almost 20 years ago, that we did the right thing. On all the work that we spent over the years, we did the right thing. And just go from strength to strength. So thank you so much, and have a good evening, have a good day, and have an excellent life.
Thank you, Bob, for all your kind words. We are so proud to have you as part of the team, and I'm very glad to be here tonight for this huge milestone in our teens' lives. So now I'd like to showcase the reflections from our teens. We've asked each of them specific questions about their experiences at YouthBridge, and this is what they had to say.
One of my favourite memories from YouthBridge has been the workshops we did with Project Reach in Chinatown. I really enjoyed getting to know their organisation, and I always found their workshops really informative, and I think we had really good discussions.
One of my favorite memories at YouthBridge would have to be going to the MasterCard. I learned that these credit card companies don't just give us credit cards, and instead they help make our world a better place and helping those in need.
My favorite memory from my time at YouthBridge-NY was definitely the retreat at the beginning of junior year, which I'm sure a lot of people will say because it was a lot of fun. We had like very cool activities. There was a pool, but I think the best part was the bus rides there and back, and also just how much downtime we had to just talk, and lots of good opportunities for conversation and to get to know everyone. And everyone at YouthBridge is so cool and nice, so it was a lot of fun.
So my favorite memory from my time at YouthBridge would probably be going to the meetings and getting to play like the different icebreaker games with the rest of the group before we started.
My favorite memory at YouthBridge was attending the Youth Summit 2 years ago. It really gave me a great opportunity to get to know the fellows and bridgers in a closer way that I hadn't before, and I really enjoyed spending our nights roasting marshmallows and taking part in different leadership-related games. It was just a really fun experience overall.
My favorite experience from YouthBridge was during the pre-COVID times when we were in person, going somewhere every month, whether it was to Chinatown or to the office on 34th Street. And we interacted with each other, met new people, and shared our perspectives.
My favorite memory of my time at YouthBridge is the escape room we all did.
I think my favorite part of YouthBridge has been getting to just hang out with the other bridgers, whether it's before a meeting, when we were in person, or on the way to meetings, meeting up with people on the way there, and just getting to know other students my age who I wouldn't necessarily otherwise interact with because we don't go to school together or we live in different parts of the city.
My favorite memory from YouthBridge so far would have to be from when we were playing Mafia and we got into a really heated game. I felt like I got to know everybody so much better from that.
But my favorite memory is probably the Among Us game, mainly because it made me feel like I knew the people better because it's more like a social activity, and because the goal of the game is to work together and to lie. You both have the fun of seeing people blunder through their lies, or have the fun of fooling people because you are a good liar, or you are just sitting there accusing each other of being the traitor in a very sort of paranoid manner, and like working and also still trying to work together towards the end goal.
My favorite memory of my time at YouthBridge was definitely retreat.
So my favorite memory here at YouthBridge would probably be playing Mafia with my peers via Zoom.
My favorite memory of my time at YouthBridge New York was bonding during the orientation in August of 2019. While the other fellows and I were new to YouthBridge, the Bridgers were like big siblings to us and helped us feel right at home in the YouthBridge community.
I think my favorite memory at YouthBridge would probably be going to MasterCard with my committee.
It was a surreal experience, and because of that day, I will be pursuing the career path that I am today. So thank you, YouthBridge, for taking me to MasterCard.
One of my favorite memories is probably during a pre-COVID EWD meeting when my group mates and I were bouncing off ideas of each other to come up with this PSA video. And at the time we were just joking around, laughing a lot because some of our ideas were absurd, but then some of the details started falling into place. And I think during that time I was watching the eyes of my members light up. And I think that really embodies the whole YouthBridge community that we have when it comes to problem solving. So it's a fond memory to look back on.
My favorite memory of my time at YouthBridge was working with my peers and choosing an organization best fit for our grant. After months of researching and interviewing, we were beyond thrilled to have helped our community in such an impactful way.
And my favorite moment was definitely the Bridging the Gap grant application process. Our committee had a really good debate, and we're also able to help the community.
My favorite memory from YouthBridge has to be the Escape the Room that YouthBridge hosted, because not only was it super fun, but it taught us lifelong lessons like teamwork, because in the beginning, we were all just trying to figure out how to find clues by ourselves and figure out puzzles by ourselves, and that ended up leading us nowhere. And towards the middle, we started realizing that in order to make any progress, we needed to work together and we needed to all be on the same page. So that is my biggest takeaway from that whole experience, because not only were we having fun and making better relationships with each other, but we learned really important lifelong lessons that I can use throughout my entire life.
I really enjoyed the workshop where we played Mafia. Not only was I a key player in that game, but it also helped me learn more and understand the other fellows and their perspectives on life.
How people's lived experience really does affect how they approach a problem and how they view solutions to issues facing our city, and how even if we do have different lived experiences and different approaches, we might actually end up at the same place in terms of what the solution might be.
I've become much better at communicating with, problem solving with, and coming to compromises with different groups of people.
Something that I have learned from my time at YouthBridge is to make sure to learn about other people's unique experiences. As a fellow and bridger, I have had the opportunity to engage with those from different cultures, backgrounds, and religions. These interactions have helped me become a more open-minded individual and have enabled me to think from a more broader perspective.
Knowing how many people are out there, especially in New York City, who are really driving positive change in many different areas that we've discussed at YouthBridge. So for example, we've met people who are trying to reform the educational inequity in New York City. We've learned about prison reform and so many other issues. And it's just really motivating and uplifting to just see how many young people especially are taking part in those changes.
One thing I will take away from YouthBridge is that everyone has their own story, and that the best way to learn about an issue is by talking to people about it. I learned a lot about people who share their personal experience with women's health and the criminal justice system. And these were topics that I wasn't very well informed of before. But just by listening to others talk about it and share their personal stories, I was able to enhance my understanding of these issues a lot.
I mean, I learned a lot, but definitely the value of collaboration, more than like a group project at school. YouthBridge really taught me how valuable people's perspectives are, and a lot of people at YouthBridge have like very different interests, but we still all get along, and everyone's really smart and has something insightful to say, and you can learn a lot like just by listening. So YouthBridge definitely made me see that value.
One thing that I'll take away from my experience at YouthBridge is probably being more open-minded. Because of YouthBridge, I take risks and I take any opportunities that come my way. I go out my comfort zone more often. So thank you, YouthBridge, for making me the person I am today.
Definitely all the friendships I made and the knowledge about how to be a better leader in my community.
One thing I'll take away from YouthBridge would be to never stop educating myself on issues that are currently happening right now, and to also listen to others and their different perspectives.
Definitely improved team building skills, learning how to work in groups, learning to listen, and also delegate responsibility and take leadership at times too. So definitely improved team working skills.
Something I'll take away from YouthBridge is how to be a better leader and how to work in a team better and to communicate with others so that we can all have the best experience and do the best work we can.
What is something that I'll take away from my experience at YouthBridge? Definitely social skills.
Something that I will take away from my experiences at YouthBridge would have to be leadership skills. And I know it sounds generic, of course, but I learned my capabilities, and I learned how to use these leadership skills to help others and to help myself as well.
I hope to take away from YouthBridge not only the leadership skills that were advertised to me, but also since my friend introduced me to YouthBridge, he talked a lot about the connections he made during his time here, and it was really, really fascinating to see. He said, in all of high school, this was probably one of his most favorite moments because he just got to hang around with like-minded people and form connections that he feels like were meaningful and might last him for a lifetime.
Things that I took away from YouthBridge was the importance of voicing out my own opinions and using my own voice. Because honestly, before YouthBridge, I was in my own bubble. I didn't really want to talk about my own opinions and I didn't know how to voice them out. And through this experience with YouthBridge, I learned the importance of networking and I made really good relationships with people and I became more social and I really broke out of that bubble. So through this whole experience, I learned how to use my own voice and the ways I could use it.
YouthBridge-NY has widened the diversity of people that I know.
I will take away the impact of dialogue and the difficult discussions we had at meetings. YouthBridge has taught me the importance of hearing and seeing different perspectives.
Learning how to be comfortable with sharing my own stories, but also listening to other people's stories, because I think being vulnerable is actually one of the greatest assets that a student or a person in general can have.
Disbelief. It doesn't feel like 2 years has gone by, especially with COVID, which has robbed us of our experience and time that we could have had with YouthBridge.
Happy. It was a good fellowship.
Accomplished. I am so grateful that I completed this fellowship with the people that I did, and I'm just overall happy to be a part of YouthBridge. I'm happy that I experienced YouthBridge.
Inspired.
Sort of sad. Sad.
Accomplished.
Connected. And that's because I think I actually spoke with a lot of people that I wouldn't have at school if it weren't for YouthBridge, so thank you for the opportunity to do so.
Ready. I feel ready for what's coming next, and I feel ready for my future.
Understanding, I think it's just given me an overall better understanding of who I am as a person, of how different people view issues facing our city.
Prepared.
Gratitude for sure. I feel very grateful for the friends I've made and for the things I've learned.
Grateful. I feel grateful to have had the opportunity to meet some amazing people and learn so many valuable skills.
I'm grateful to have completed the YouthBridge-New York Fellowship because I've met other like-minded peers who are curious and passionate about their communities.
I feel accomplished because I think I reached my own goal of breaking out of that bubble and learning how to speak and articulate my words during important interviews or just in public settings. I think that when I went into YouthBridge, I really wanted to learn that skill of talking with people and just being outgoing. And I think that I feel accomplished with YouthBridge because I really learned that skill throughout those 2 years I was there.
Excited.
I'm feeling really excited for next year.
I am excited for my second year in the fellowship. The first year has been nothing but good times, and I hope more good times to come.
So for me, after high school comes college, but in college, I kind of hope to foster the same safe space for other students as YouthBridge did for me, encouraging others to talk about their own stories because when you go to college, it's not just the students in your local city, it's also students from other states and other countries, so things are a lot different. And I think in college, while I talk with fellow college students, I also want to do some volunteer work at the local community in the college and kind of teach students to be comfortable with their own stories as well.
What's next for me is that I'll be going to the University of Wisconsin in Madison, and I'll be majoring in sociology.
What comes next for me? So I'm going to graduate high school in June and then enroll at Yale University in the fall. And I'm trying to get my driver's license this summer.
I am looking forward to attending college next year and staying connected to the communities that I have been part of in high school. I am interested in studying sociology or urban studies, and I hope to use the knowledge that YouthBridge-NY has given me as I embark on this journey.
What comes next for me would probably just be going to college and learning more about how I can apply the things I'm interested in to something that could be a good career in the future.
College comes for me next. I am going to my dream school, NYU Stern, and hopefully I get to study abroad. Other than that, I don't know what the future holds for me, but yeah.
I'll be at Brown University next fall. I hope to participate in different activism-related clubs and activities, and also study education.
What comes next for you? College. I'm excited but scared.
In terms of what comes next for me, I would say that I will continue staying engaged with the community, and I will continue talking to people to keep myself well informed of certain issues.
What comes next for me is I'm starting UMass Boston in the fall, so that's very exciting. I'll get the chance to explore a new city, and I'm also working as a summer camp counselor this summer at a camp in Vermont, so I'm very excited for that.
Next, I will be going to college at James Madison University in Virginia, and graduating.
What comes next for me is college. I can't wait to use what I learned at YouthBridge to help make my college's community an even better place.
Wow. What an incredible time well spent with each and every one of you. There is no doubt that you're all going to leave a positive impact on the world as you leave this fellowship and move forward in your lives. Wow. And now I'd like to share some remarks from our staff. I think we have Liz on the call. Liz was our MSW intern this year. So Liz.
Yeah, hi everyone. It's really great to be able to see all you guys again. It's really been such an amazing year getting to work with you teens. I've been in such awe by the passion that you brought to the conversations we had and all of our workshops and group bonding activities. And I know that in my year interning with you guys, I really learned a lot that I'll be able to take on with me. I'm super, super proud of all you guys for what you have accomplished, and I'm really looking forward to what you will accomplish. I feel incredibly honored to have been able to learn from you guys and work with you guys over the last year. And I think that you guys all have really, really bright futures ahead of you. So best wishes to those of you that are moving on to a new stage in life, and for those of you that are going to enter your next year in the fellowship. I hope I have a really awesome and great experience that you can learn from. Congratulations.
Thanks, Liz. So as Bob mentioned earlier, our managing director, Karen, can't be with us today, but she asks that I leave her message with you. And so Karen is proud of you and has seen such immense growth from all of you. She looks forward to another great year ahead with the fellows. And Bridgers, now that you are alum, can't wait to see where you all go. You're going to make the world such a better place. And now let's hear from Sam, our committee facilitator. Sam left a message with us.
Hey everyone, I wish we could all be together to celebrate this accomplishment. Congratulations to the Bridgers for graduating high school and finishing YouthBridge. I'm excited for all the change you're going to make in the world, and congratulations to the fellows on finishing your first year. I'm excited for you guys to continue and be able to develop into leaders for the future.
All right. So this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Teens, please turn your cameras on and hold up your certificates and props for a quick photo op. Ready? Count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Woo! Congratulations again. You did it. Thank you all for coming. We're so proud of our Bridgers for completing the fellowship, and for our fellows, we can't wait to see what your second year has in store for you.
You guys are awesome.